Welcome, welcome everyone. We're going to be taking a look at a man-at-arms dark age rush for the English Civilization today that will be dealing out high amounts of pressure early on in the game since it is in dark age. It's good for civs that are reliant on gold, such as Delhi, such as HRE. Civs that are that have outside resources such as an Ovu or a pit mine or any other kind of resources such as berries exposed that will be harassable for you from the beginning. And you'll be then doing a follow-up with the longbows later on in the feudal age. And doing all this, we'll also be transitioning onto farms whilst also getting the wood cutting upgrade from the lumber camp. Right, so I'll of course be linking the build order in the description below, including the AoE4 production calculator that describes the correct amount of villages, including upgrades and civ-specific bonuses for eco, and it's great for mapping out, well, how many villas do I need on set resources to maybe constantly produce longbows. Right. We'll be jumping into the game here. Let me just do a quick restart. This is my second take, so let's see how it's gonna go. Right, so from the get-go, you're gonna be putting 4 villas on sheep, and you're gonna be putting 2 on the barracks to increase the build time of it, the speed, and to get that man-at-arm out quicker. We have a scout here, and the scout goes and takes those 3 sheep that are around your base in the immediate vicinity in the beginning here, as we want to be sprinting to the opponent's base and figuring out, well, where can we go and actually harass for later. And so our scout, we can see it in the minimap corner here, moves towards the enemy, finds the gold, finds the berries. We're playing against Delhi, so often you'll find that Delhi puts a mill on their berries and focuses that mainly. Anyways, so we'll have a man-at-arm out here. That's the first thing you produce once you get the blacksmith up. You want to go 7 on food, and then you rally onto wood. And then you build man-at-arms as you're able to, but you never want to be idling your TC. So you're going to be doing some forced drop-offs here. We're going to be rallying onto wood here, the straggler tree, until we have 3 villages. And then the 4th woodville will go onto the wood line, including the 5th one. But the 4th woodville will be building the lumber camp. It doesn't matter if it's all or if it's just the one, but it's more effective if you just have that one do it, whilst the other one starts to chop down the wood line later. Right, so we follow our scout a bit here. As we can see, we've found the gold. We've found the food. It's always a good idea to take a look at, well, how much gold is left in the vein. Sometimes people, they gather gold and they have a mining camp here, but you don't know how much they've gathered. Maybe they want to go for upgrades. It's a good way to take a look at the stone outcropping, at the gold. Well, what is the total amount of gold in it? And then you can determine whether or not your enemy is going for a second TC, military school. Well, maybe they're going for wheelbarrow and fresh foodstuffs if you're against Abbasid. Okay, so maybe I should actually engage this. Right, in the top right here, you can see 7 on food, 5 on wood, and at this point, we start to rally onto gold. We'll be rallying 3 gold villas there. In the meantime, doing all this eco stuff and scouting, you'll have 2 men-at-arms, and they'll be denying resources as they can, making your enemy run away from their base. If their APM is low or they're not aware, they've just sent their villagers, for example, to chase your man-at-arm. It's a good idea just to run, because you're gonna take a lot of damage, and you wanna keep your men-at-arms for as long as possible, even into the next stage. Getting kills is not as important as idling the enemy, because, well, the longer you can idle them, the more time it takes for them to get to the next age or to get that night out. Right, back at the base, we have sent the 1st vill to build a mining camp. We've sent the 2nd vill to build a house, and the 3rd vill goes straight to gold, including the other 2 once they've completed their structures here. We're still gathering food here. I think I sent an 8 foodville here, though that is not needed. You can just go 7. I might actually be hopping out and build a mill here in just a second. Okay, so we have a wood mill here. You might be wondering, well, why am I building the mill on the lower side here of the lumber camp? Well, the good thing about having the mill this close is that you can just say rally your TC onto wood, and then have the wood mills go and build further farms without having to walk as long. So say I build it in the front here, or let's say I had built the barracks in the front and the mill here, they would have to walk all the way over here. So it's better to keep it here and then delete the lumber camp later, because you don't need the lumber camp once you've refreshed it. We keep on harassing, of course. You want to be as disruptive as possible without losing your man-at-arms, as they are quite valuable even in the next stage. The upgrades are very cheap, costing only 50 resources. Sometimes you're lucky and your opponent accidentally donates you a couple of sheep. Use that to your advantage, of course. Try to take out the scout and then get the sheep in. But we're playing as if we did not have this many sheep and only a couple. So we keep on adding the farms. We are aging up as well with 5 villages. If you want the timestamps for this, you can see it in the description below, where I have a build order, as I mentioned before, with all the different timestamps for when you should be approximately doing things here. So we're going to be plopping down our second age at around 4 minutes and 40 seconds, but it'll say that inside the build order. So if I miss some things here, you can just go and look in there. Pull it up while you watch the video and you'll be able to see when things approximately start happening. As you can see here, we're getting forestry. Now having forestry and double broadaxe actually decreases the amount of villagers you need. So if you guys don't know, if you want to constantly produce longbows, you'll need 13 woodvilles and 11 foodvilles if you include the TC. Because you always want to be producing with TC. But if you include those two upgrades, you actually manage to make that number and build split 11-11. So 11 on food, 11 on wood. Instead of 11 on food and 13 on wood. We keep our villages here for a bit on gold, even though we are getting the broadaxe, because we want to be going up to 125 gold, getting the +1 attack. Now there's a bunch of strategies you can use here when you get to feudal age. You can choose to go all in. So create a nice eco upgrade, advantage here. And then use that to your advantage, keep on setting stuff in and never run out of food, and just focus on getting the wood and upgrades and so on whilst you are the aggressor in the game. You can also choose to make maybe 2-3 longbows, including a spear. Make your opponent think that you are actually attacking, but then you're going castle and getting a quick second TC and a tech advantage. You could also just go for 5 to 10 longbows. If you have 10 longbows, or it's actually 9 longbows, but I like to go for 10 just to be safe. If you have 9 longbows, you can one-shot villas without textiles. Textiles being the increase in villager health. So very worth to get that upgrade if you are being attacked. So the longbows are streaming in. Of course, this is just an example, so the stream will not be streaming necessarily. But you can choose to do all of those kinds of strategies. All are viable in their respective situations. So if your opponent is turtling massively and you can't really get a lot of hits, well, maybe you should pull off a bit. Focus eco-wise and try to deny your opponent resources. Build towers or wall in the relics or something that will make it tougher for them once they run out of resources inside their base. So, losing a bit of longbows here. But it's for, you know, it's just for show here. Of course, you want to be trying to avoid that. So we're getting +1 attack here, and the replay should be over in just a little bit. But the idea is here. You can continue to expand, or you can stay here and go next stage if you want to do that. I'm gonna again reference the production calculator. There's some very important numbers in there. I'll just quickly recite them for you. So if you want to be constantly producing villages, including longbow, and you have that forestry upgrade, including double broadaxe, you'll only need 11 vills on food, considering farms, and then 11 vills on wood. But if you want to also have constant spear production, as most people do, you want to be including 17 on food, 14 on wood. Let's say that's man-at-arms instead. You'll be including 24 on food, 11 on wood, and 3 on gold. I hope that's helpful for you, and I hope you enjoyed this build order, and that it works for you. Because, yes, I have certainly had a lot of success with it. It's great for some matchups. For other matchups, you want to adapt, as I have spoken about in this video. So, against boomy civs, add more TCs, try to play the late game. English is really strong in Dark Age, in Feudal Age, not so much in Castle Age. They're still strong if you play it right, but compared to other civs, they're better in Imperial. So try to get it to Imperial once you get to Castle. That will be your goal from there on out, unless you have set yourself up for a really nice Castle advantage. Alright. Ciao, ciao, guys. Enjoy the build order. Again, have a look in the description, and if you feel like it, come check out my Twitch, where I will be streaming almost daily. So, and keep in mind, I'm also doing some coaching. So do message me or write down in the comments below if you'd like some coaching. And we'll figure something out. Right. Have a good one, guys.